Hi, I'm McKeown from the Science of Hearing, and I'm here to talk to you about what do you do if, for some reason, your hearing aid just stops working? Or if you're a caregiver or you know somebody whose hearing aid stops working, what do you do? So before you call the hearing aid clinic, there's a few little steps that you can go through to double check, and you might even be able to solve it yourself. So the first one is, well, I'm going to grab a hearing aid here, and I'm going to just give it a quick wipe. So we want to make sure, is your hearing aid clean before we jump to any conclusions? So I like to use a little disinfectant spray on my little wipe, and then wipe the hearing aid clean just to make sure there's no debris that's getting in the way. Secondly, what I do is I cup the hearing aid in my hand, and I know that sounds odd, but I'll cup it like this, and what I'm listening for is a very small whistling sound, like a... And what that whistling sound is it's feedback. And feedback is the re-amplification of sound. So if I hear a whistle, that tells me that the hearing aid is actually working in some capacity. It's telling me that sound is going into the microphone, being amplified, and is coming out the speaker. So whistling is actually a good sound and tells us that the hearing aid is working at some level. Secondly, I look at where in the hearing aid does the sound go in and where does the sound come out. So in this particular style of hearing aid, in this receiver and canal hearing aid, on the back is the microphone and the sound goes in there. The sound comes out from the speaker or the receiver, the part that's in the ear. So I want to make sure, here's a little brush that usually comes with your hearing aid kit, that I brush the speaker gently to make sure there's no debris, and that I brush where the sound comes out. Now, in the case of a hearing aid not working, 95% of the time, it is wax blocking the speaker. So a good cleaning will usually solve the problem. So after we clean, you can do it with a larger toothbrush if you wish. Secondly, we want to check the battery. So I brought with me a battery tester. Now you can take the battery out of the hearing aid, put it on the tester, make sure it's working, or you can just change the battery altogether. I have had some patients who've changed 5, 6, 7 batteries. Don't bother doing that. If the first 2 don't work, then we've got a different problem. We do the test again, cup it in our hand. Do we hear a whistle? If you do, fantastic. If not, we have another step. The next step is, most of the hearing aid companies are getting smart. They're putting what's called a wax guard on the hearing aid because they know wax often clogs the end, and cleaning can be fairly fine. It's a tiny process. So here are a few examples of different wax guards that are found in hearing aids. Even though there's different kinds, the concept is very similar. So what it is they've designed a very miniature plastic cup with holes in the bottom. And what it does is that plastic cup fits inside the speaker. So what happens is, as the wax tries to get in and damage that speaker, the little plastic cup stops it. But the problem is the wax can go in and fill that little cup, blocking it, and then all of a sudden your hearing aid doesn't work. So let's take a look at a couple of different examples that we have here on the table of hearing aids with different wax guards. So for example, this is a hearing aid that fits in your ear. And over here, you'll see this little white cap is the wax guard. Now this one, I'll take a replacement here. So this hearing aid comes with this in your kit. You take the little stick out, and it has a white piece at one end, a replacement, and an empty piece at the other. So you take the empty piece, you push it in to the existing wax guard, pull out the old one, you turn it around, and you put in a new one. Ta-da! Just like new, we now have a clear passage for the sound to exit. Most of the time, this will solve your problem. So as we look at the various hearing aids on the table, I have a smaller one that goes in the ear that also has a similar wax guard. When I get into something like a receiver in the canal hearing aid, this one has like a little click thing on the end, so I can actually click that off, I can replace this piece, and now again, I've got a clear passage from the speaker. Similar over here, in this particular case, this is a different brand. it has a little dome on the end, and then I take the dome off, and then inside it has another wax guard. So let's take a look at this one. This is a different type of wax guard, but again, let me see if I can get one with a replacement. You can see the little white cup, and then you can see the other side, which is empty. So I would take the empty side, push it in, remove the old one, put the new one in. Ta-da! I have now a clear passageway from the speaker. So as you can see, having a clear passage to the speaker or having wax block it is a real concern to many of the hearing aid manufacturers, and they've come up with easy ways to clean them, and that will usually solve your problem. The last case involves much larger hearing aids that usually pack a lot more power. So this is many people might call this old style, but we have some very sophisticated ones like this. But this one has an earpiece on it that you can actually take apart, and you would have to clean in here, or you can run some water through to get any blockages away from there. You make sure it's dry, you reconnect it, and there you go, you're back in business. And that is how you double check to see or take some of the steps to solve your problem if your hearing aid stops working. Thanks very much.